This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Okay, welcome everyone. So today we have a special class, a brief class on this month, Chodesh Cheshvan. Today, of course, is Rosh Chodesh Cheshvan. Some refer to it as Mar Cheshvan. The irony is that there's a concept that the 12 months of a year correspond to the 12 permutations of Hashem's name, of Yud Kei Vav Kei. Those 4 letters have 4 permutations. Nisan being the Shem Hashem Kesidron, Yismechu Hashamayim V'Sagel Haaretz, Yud Kei Vav Kei in order. Tammuz being backward, V'Chol Zeh Einenu Shoyveli. But what about the month of Cheshvan? So in the Sidurim they bring down that it's the combination of Udevash, Hayom Hazeh Hashem. Udevash, the truth is from 2 different psukim. In Kisavai, Perek Chavav, Pasuk Tesvav, Eretz Zavas Cholav Udevash, Hayom Hazeh Hashem Lekechem Etzav Chalasais. So what's ironic is the fact that even though people refer to it as Mar Cheshvan, bitter, the truth is the combination, come from the word Udevash. Okay. But be it as it may, the Bnei Yissaschar in Mamori Chodesh Mar Cheshvan, he says like this. There's a pasuk in Tehillim, Parak Pei, pasuk Gimel. Lefnei Ephraim uBinyamin uMenashe Ayura es Kvurascha uLecha lishuasa lanu. Before Ephraim, before Binyamin, before Menashe, arouse your might and save us. So question number 1 is, this is in the parak of the Bnei Kairach. Why do they specifically mention Lefnei Ephraim, Menashe, Binyamin, Menashe? Why dafka those? God should only arouse his might in front of Ephraim, Binyamin, and Menashe. And number 2, why dafka the Gevuros of Hashem? Why not the Chasadim of Hashem? We say Ayra es Kvurasecha. We'll see if we answer that question. Number 3, why Ulecha lishuasa lanu? Why is there the salvation dependent on these 3 Shvatim? And most importantly, what we're going to address is the order of these Shvatim is rather odd. Ephraim, Binyamin, Menashe. That's what kind of order is that? That's not the Seder Hadagalim. Ephraim, Menashe, it should be Binyamin was first, or Menashe is first. What's Ephraim, Binyamin, Menashe? Yeah, what's that all about? You're with me, pals? Right? So what's happening over here? So there's a very interesting Yalkut Shmoini, a Malachim, Parak Vav, Remez Kuf Pei Daled. Does anybody know, when did Moshe complete the construction of the Mishkan? So we have a tradition, he completed it on Chanukah, right, Kislev. However, Hashem said, let's not inaugurate it until the month of Nisan, the month that Yitzchak was born. So, but Kislev was embarrassed. Hashem said, don't worry, I'll inaugurate you in the times of the second Beis Hamikdash, because the main inauguration of the second Beis Hamikdash was in the times of Chanukah. Because in the beginning of the second Beis Hamikdash, we were still under the auspices of the Malchei Paras. And not until the times of Chanukah did we initially inaugurate it. So that's the Mishkan was inaugurated in Nisan, but it was paid back. Kislev was paid back in the Beis Sheni. The Beis Rishon Shlomo built. When did he finish the Beis Rishon? Nishlam b'chodesh Cheshvan. It says in Malachim Aleph, Parak Vav, Pasuk Lamed Ches, Yerach Bul, the month of Bul. Okay, which Chazal say Beis Vamed Lamed.
Did you read the Haftorah on Sukkot that Shlomo came and he dedicated the Beis? Yeah. Our Sukkot time.
Well, that's when. Oh, you're right. We do read that, but that's not when he finished. He had finished it 11 months earlier in Cheshvan, and he delayed it until Sukkot. Even though he didn't inaugurate it until Sukkot, so Cheshvan was embarrassed. Here, you finished in me, and you're not inaugurating in me. So Hashem said, "I'll pay you back." The inauguration of the third Beis Hamikdash. You hear this? So the first Beis Hamikdash was completed in Cheshvan, was inaugurated in Tishrei, and the third Beis Hamikdash will pay it back Cheshvan. So the first Beis Hamikdash, so it's like this. The second Beis Hamikdash paid back Kislev. The third Beis Hamikdash paid back Cheshvan. Fine. So it comes out like this.
But when will be constructed?
The third Beis Hamikdash?
It's not always in the same month.
Maybe Adar. I think Adar. I think the end of Adar.
Come down.
So it comes out like this. When was the chinuch of the first Beis Hamikdash? When was the first Beis Hamikdash inaugurated? Tishrei. When was the second Beis Hamikdash inaugurated? Kislev. When is the third Beis Hamikdash inaugurated? Cheshvan. So interesting. All three Batei Mikdashim are Tishrei, Cheshvan, Kislev. Now let's go through the order of months which Shvatim correspond to these months. Okay. V'hinei elu hagimel chadashim, according to the Seder Degalim, Tishrei is Ephraim, Cheshvan is Menashe, Kislev is Binyamin. That's why Ephraim, Menashe, Binyamin is a typical order. However, if we go in order of the inaugurations of the Batei Mikdashim, the first Beis Hamikdash was inaugurated in Tishrei, so we'll go with Ephraim. The second Beis Hamikdash was inaugurated in Kislev, we'll go with Binyamin. And then the third Beis Hamikdash is inaugurated in Cheshvan, we'll go with Menashe. This is the meaning of the Tefillah of the Bnei Korach. Lefnei Ephraim uBinyamin uMenashe oira es gvurasecha. Ephraim is the month of Tishrei, Keneged the first Beis Hamikdash. Binyamin is the month of Kislev, Keneged the second Beis Hamikdash. And Menashe is Keneged Cheshvan, which is the third Beis Hamikdash. The Bnei Yissaschar says the remez to this is Tamech Ashurai b'Magaloi Secha, passing in Tehillim Perek Yud Zayin. Tamech is Tishrei, Mar Cheshvan, and Kislev. Be it as it may.
Why those three have this chus? Binyamin, it was in the Beis Hamikdash within his gevul, right?
Yeah, why? We're going to see. What do these 3 months and 3 Shvatim have in common in terms of the Beis Hamikdash? So it comes out, though, we're going to come back to it, that the month of Cheshvan is the month in which we anticipate the rebuilding and the inauguration of the third Beis Hamikdash. Why? What's special about Cheshvan? So the Bnei Yissaschar brings down from Harav HaKodesh, Marina Rav Menachem Mendel, Miriminov, that if you notice, all decrees of the government against Klal Yisrael throughout history have always began in Cheshvan. Why? Because if you look in Malachim Beis, the rebellion of Yeravam against the Malchus Beis David began in the month of Cheshvan. He says in this Cheshvan began the Merida and the rebellion against Malchus Beis David in times of Yeravam. What did Yeravam do? Vayas Yeravam es hachag. Yeravam said, don't go to the Beis Hamikdash to celebrate Sukkot. We're going to meet Sukkot in Cheshvan. It says, Yoim achodesh asher bada miliboy. A month he made up from his heart. But miliboy could be re-scrambled. Miliboy is bull, the month of bull. Yeah? So, in other words, right? That means the month of Cheshvan. He said, Nirali kashe yizvar mitzvah, alkein gezeras hamalchios b'mar Cheshvan. Fine. So it comes out, the month that Klal Yisrael said, who needs David? The Lashon of Melachim Aleph, Perek Yud Beis, Pasuk Tezayin, is Re'ei Beis David. We don't need David anymore. So the month that they chose to demote David and to dismiss David was the month of Cheshvan. And therefore, in order to be Mesakein, the restoration of Malchus Beis David, L'Asalave, will also occur in the month of Cheshvan. That's why the third Beis Hamikdash will be Nischanech in Cheshvan. So that's why in the Pasuk in Tehillim, it's Ephraim, then that's Bayis Rishon, Binyamin, Bayis Sheni, and then finally, Menashe, Bayis Shlishi. Okay. But be it as it may, this is the explanation for why Dafka, these 3 Shvatim are mentioned, why they're invoked, and why Dafka in that order. Now, one thing we need to mention is what is specific about these Shvatim. What do all these 3 Shvatim have in common? These three Shvatim are all the Bnei Rachel. Rachel is called Ikaras HaBayis. The mainstay of the Bayis. Which Bayis? The house of Israel and the Beis Hamikdash. So in the merit of Rachel Imenu, we know that Rosh Chodesh is the Yom Tov of Rachel Imenu. That's why actually the Chidah brings down that Rachel Imenu composed Tfilas Musaf on Rosh Chodesh, and she signed her name Rashi Chadashim La'amcha, is Rashi Tevas Rachel, because since Rosh Chodesh is a Yom Tov of Nashim, it was composed by Rachel Imenu, but her primary months are the months of Tishrei, Cheshvan, and Kislev. So even though the month of Cheshvan is, we call it bitter, there are no Yamim Tovim, but it's not because there are no Yamim Tovim. What we're saying is because that's where the downfall of Malchus Beit David began, but the remez to it is Udevash, Hayom Hazeh. Really, in the month is a month of great honey, great sweetness, because we're not Zoicha to it now, but La'asilava, it will be the month in which the third Beis Hamikdash will be inaugurated. Sheyischanech b'mheri yameinu. Shkayach.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.